everyone, welcome back and Happy New Year. I hope the beginning of this new year already is positive. If it's not, it still is. It's just it looks like a lot of changes, so beware of that. Anyhow, it's time for a new update, so let's begin. By the way, for me today, this is one of those days when there's a lot of transmutation going on, so we'll see if I can pull this off. So let's begin. The last 3 months, I have one word that could describe what happened in the last 3 months, and that is just wow. Toward the end of October, well, where I actually left off the last update, my eating habits, well, the time when I'm consuming, back then, were getting really strange, as in like whatever I would ingest, it's like I was like on, nothing would like communicate with my own system. It's like they were on parallel to each other, and which internally generated this like panic thing where like, oh God, there's like that nothing helps. This like whatever I ingest, it's just not just not going anywhere, but it's like you want some satisfaction, fulfillment, whatever, feel full or whatever. Nothing. Well, even before that, but I'm just saying this became really, really weird, and it made me feel like, okay, what do I do now? So that was very strange for a long, I don't know, time. I would say a month or so, and for that reason I was just, okay, let's do more liquids. But the mind was like panicking, what's going on? But then I realized, later I realized that something else was going on. Obviously it was a transmutation phase, which was weird for the things that I was carrying inside my system. In the beginning of November, when, well, a lot of you witnessed the Trump thing, a lot of attacks were starting to happen, and I didn't understand why. Because until then it was relatively quiet and things progressed really well, and it was like I was in my protective bubble. I still am, and I still was, but those like desperate attacks. And I just want to tell you this funny story, well, about the election night. By the way, I haven't actually watched any of the debates throughout this year, last year and before that, so I haven't really followed the presidential race, although I know who and what are the candidates or were. I am not even going to begin to, I won't even elaborate on who and what is what and what they do and the role and the whole thing, but let's just say none of them are what they're supposed to be. But for some reason, the result of what happened, in a strange way, it's a positive one, and I will explain a little bit, but I just want to share with you my reaction first when this happened, and why do I say that it's positive. So it's election night. I couldn't care less. I was, I don't know, watching some vlogs or something like that, and my husband was watching the polls and whatever it was. By the way, we do not have TV, so we watch stuff online, and because we prefer that. He was watching all this stuff and is like, please do not tell me what's going on. I am not interested in the least. And toward midnight, I don't know, at some point I just like went to bed. I was like, I felt like today I was going to just go to bed early, and so I did. And at some point he comes to bed and he says, Trump won. And I was like, what? That was my reaction. You're kidding me, right? No, Trump won. What? And then I basically burst into laughter, realizing that the timeline has changed, and actually it's positive stuff, because if we would have had Clinton, well, Hillary, that meant that things stayed, I mean, we were still on that timeline, and that was not good. I don't care who and what believes about Hillary or whatever, that was not good. It's not, it may seem that it's not good with Trump as well, but in terms of energy and timelines and things and changes in this matrix, yes, it is a positive thing. Because, as I said, it was a demarcation point where we know that something, we have switched. Whoever, well, if you are on a different timeline and if you experience Hillary, I am sorry, do what you can to just change your internal energy direction and move out of there. So, and after this whole whatever election thing, I just started to relax again, isn't like energetically, it's like all this weird desperate things just before that, and then I realized, it was because of the portal. It was like a November portal, and then they were pumping, they were just messing with the timeline, and but either way the shift happened, and was a positive one. And in energy, for a lot of us, happened another thing, which, well, at least for some of us, that managed to just move, not just move higher, but as in like finally to experience, well, that too, but to experience, how should I say, I don't want to say the 5D, because there's a lot of, as I said, I just stick with that. I stand by that. There's a lot of distorted Ascension teachings and spiritual teachings, including sacred geometries, that actually create more mess than help. And even about the 5D and the whatever, this transition, there's a lot of things that it's kind of like there are two directions. There's a real ascension, and there is like some, not fake ascension, but it's like things that do not really will go into, move into higher energy, but into like artificial planes, energetic planes, which are basically non-eternal, they're not free, they're limited, they're part of limited finite systems, and that's not ascension, that's just, I would say, fake, but it's artificial, they're artificial ascension, whatever, things and hubs and whatever. And it's a very delicate time right now to play with your energy system, with your anatomy, with your with geometries that if you don't understand, if you do not have enough discernment, if you do not, I mean, your energy system, your code cannot detect, or let's say, the problems. You should stay away, and the only thing that you should intend right now is just connect with source and internally to set the guidance for like, okay, not just the guidance, but set the direction of like stay connected with source, and you will be directed what to do next and how to be and how to mentally and emotionally to set a specific configuration to move forward through this, well, transition thing, journey. But November also meant a point, as I said, when we hit another level, and people call it New Earth. I prefer to call it New Earth in this sense. As I said, I do not want to enter all the things that I know, the body of knowledge that I have, because it's huge, and most of the people out there are not familiar with that, and it's, how should I say, it's so seductive right now to go into this type of details instead of actually doing what's most important, which is the inner work, because now it's not about even the well, it's important to have the right knowledge, but more than anything is like connect with source inside, do the work inside, clearing the emotional, mental garbage, physical, of course, as well, and that will be more than helpful for at least this time. So November meant that we jumped again in energy, and for some of us, we're experiencing the beginning of a level of reality that hasn't been here, and that's why reality starts to look very different for some of us in particular, who have healed enough that really experience strange things. Another thing that around that time, combined with what I was feeling back then, with me and the food being parallel with each other, was that I felt like that I would have more space, like for thoughts, because up until that point, it's like, you know, it's like our reality, I mean, we're so filled with this, like eating, drinking, and some other stuff, and there's just not enough space for source to really come in and to express other things. And also I felt this space, because I allowed this space, and the space grew, and I was like, okay, what do I do now with this space? But this space actually allowed me to be more centered, less triggerable, and also because in that time I was doing a lot of heavy clearing, like really fast stuff, and not just it's like, oh, say whatever, I was just going for specific programs because they're all encoded in words, in a phrase, a sentence, something like I am stupid, or I am not good enough at that thing, or whatever. So those things need to be erased, and they're usually connected with an event, with a certain experience. That's how they are anchored. And if you do not get the root of the problem, that will just circle your mind anytime when the distortion wants to use it to pop into your head all sorts of, like, to deliver to you certain little bombs and things to just derail you anytime and whenever it's convenient to it. So you feed further the distortion and the things inside of you, of course, because you have to understand that everyone carries all sorts of things, viruses and beings and things, and so those things right now are in a very delicate situation, because obviously they do not want to die or leave, so they need to be transmuted. And Source has a balanced way to do things, but that doesn't mean it's easy. And if you're still in a place where you have a lot of that garbage inside of you, you can be, I mean, you still can be messed up by what's being triggered, or but then again, if you become aware of, like, oh, so I'm being triggered by that means you are being showed what you need to heal, what you need to clear. So those moments when things like this happen, it's like, great, okay, now I know what I'm supposed to clear there. So do that. By the way, I recommend tapping, but more than just that, maybe I'll do a separate video about clearing and stuff like that. Anyhow, so this was happening to me. So I was having this space where I became less triggerable. Somewhere at the beginning of December, I think around the portal in December, I woke up one day and I just felt that everything was brighter than usual, because up until that point it was like, okay, it was kind of gray, the weather, and there was I think it was also rain. There was not a lot, there was no snow at that time. By the way, right now where I am, there's no snow, it's raining and it's gray. But I woke up one day, I think it was maybe the 8th of December or something, I'm not sure anymore, but anyway, somewhere around that time. And the sky was like, wow, this is much brighter than actually I remember things to be. And not just that, but everything inside the house, I was just looking and I'm like, okay. And this stayed throughout that day and since then with me. So since then things are a little bit brighter than usual. But then this month also meant that like things were kind of like not a lot was going on. I was still clearing, because that's what I would do, is like whenever I find something, let's clear this and that and whatever. But other than that, there was not, I mean, around me, I didn't feel like there was much going on aside from the things that I needed to do. But the beginning of this year, it just like pushed things so fast forward. Even right now, when I'm speaking, as like I am going through another change and being pushed forward, because this year is so important. I mean, if there was one year in your life where it matters to set the course internally, to stay light, to stay happy, and not the fake happy. Although you can start there, because if you haven't really worked on that, then you should start really working on that, because you set energetically the course for what's going on, what's going to happen this year. Without giving you a lot of details or going into details right now, this year it's a huge activation and separation at the same time year. And if you internally do your best, and regardless of what's happening, you would always consciously choose to be on the light side of things, because this year is just the most important thing is to be on the right side of things. Don't push yourself. If you're not in a position to push yourself, just keep the course. That's the most important, nothing else. Always light, always like happy, centered, and that will happen if you are actually you choose the direction, you know. So expect around, well, the last month of, or say May, June, a lot of changes are going to happen. Well, even before that, but that's a very important like time span when, let's say, a lot of separation and things and activations are happening. And after that, certain things are not going to be available anymore. Yes, for those that have made how should I say, accrete the energy, have healed themselves enough, they will continue after this point further. And those that haven't, well, they will continue as well, but not at the same pace, because things will slowly return to before that, after this point. So everyone will basically fall into their own like corridor of evolution and healing and stuff like that. So yes, this year it's very important, especially because of that. Things that I was experiencing in this 3 months, but as a realization like around November, I would say, was that during the summer, a lot of things were going on in my life, but then again I was continuing to just set my emotional compass towards happy and light, and I realized in November that my reality was like, I wasn't sure anymore, became like a dream, what was real, what happened this summer, I mean, up until that point, as in like, wow, so I know that happened, but I'm not sure if that was real anymore. And more of those things and activities that were happy and things were becoming like highlighted, and it's like, this was your reality. And all those things that were less happy and things that needed to be done and chaotic and part of like the everyday life and things that not necessarily chaotic, because for me was not, as I said, for me there's not a lot of chaos anymore in my life. It's just, but yes, I share life with somebody that has his own problems, so therefore, well, we have to share some things, but there were things that were less than happening personally, and kind of like in a weird situation, but somehow I haven't really focused on those things. And when that major shift happening, but towards it's like was growing. And after the November portal and all those crazy changes, I realized the not dark, but the unpleasant things, just like they were a dream. There was like, that's not real. What was that? Didn't happen, right? And all of a sudden, the happy things, the light things were there, and I'm like, oh my God! It's like I realized the split again, how that split was expressed in my own experiences, and like everything that didn't match a certain energy was just like fading. It's like that was not true. And all the happy positive things were, yeah, that was your reality. That's what you did, because that was like the most thing that I was like predominantly inside of me. So that brought me to that final, I say, point where I could make the next shift. So after that, I have this not just dissolving the whole past, what I mean, at least what happened over summer, but since then I feel reality really like a dream around me. Things I feel somehow like I'm in, yeah, it's dreamlike. Everything feels like, and a lot of things that are not supposed to be in my reality, they just feel like they are dissolving, and like slowly or fades. It's like they, or faster, they fade away, and just something fall away, like disappear from my reality. As I was saying last time, giving you the example with the cat, that's just insane what's happening. And another thing that happened to me while I was actually, that was on my birthday, because I finally I celebrated my birthday. Because, oh, by the way, there's so what's positive on the 20th of January is because it's my birthday, and I don't care if Trump was inaugurated as president. I went out and celebrated because it's my birthday, and I like my birthdays. It's a magical time for me. I just have this, for maybe it's weird for a lot of people, but for me it's like a reset point. It's like I connect again with that thing where I'm like, oh, so that's who I am, and that's why I came here. And so it's a very, yes, magical time for me, my birthday. And we went to celebrate, and I went to Princeton, and I filmed a little bit there. I posted on the other channel. But I think it was the second day after that, we went again, and I was in Starbucks, and just got some tea, and we sat by the window, and there were around us like two people that had this like energy, but the whole thing when it came in was like the music was some kind of like not just loud but weird. The atmosphere was just chaotic and all over the place, but it was kind of like already drizzling outside. It was like a little bit of rain, and I didn't want to just go again for a walk with my hot tea in hand, and just like, no, I just wanted to sit somewhere. It's like, okay, fine. But by the time when we sat by the window, next to me there was this girl and this man, and I didn't want to be there, and felt uncomfortable, and it's like, what's this? I just don't want it. But then again, I just like set my space, like I was thinking, oh, I want this comfy, cozy, relaxing space. So in the next 5 minutes, the girl next to me left. The man left shortly after. Whatever noise and things were happening after in the background just like faded away. Music was changed immediately, and it's like everything entered into a different energy atmosphere zone, which was pleasant and calm and peaceful and just nice and cozy and just nice to enjoy a cup of tea. And afterwards, more people were coming, and were not like to stay, but like contributing, is like enjoying that space, not creating more chaos or whatever, because it's like the energy or whatever. And I realized then it's like, oh, so yeah, I influenced that space, and because of that, those people are enjoying that type of energy and that type of atmosphere. And yes, if they're not part of my internal, how should I say, energetic direction, they will fall away and they will just disappear. And or if they stay, they will have to join the happy, cozy, relaxing, nice to enjoy time, nice to enjoy a cup of tea time. So yes, that was another fun thing that happened. There's many things like that, but I was just one example. Another thing that I was experiencing, and I'm experiencing currently, was me being removed from the human experience. For some time now, I feel that aside from like reality feeling like a dream, and certain things that just, as I said, energetic, they're not part of my story, light, happy, and just high energy. They just seem like they just become a dream. I have been removed from the whole, like, the human experience, in the sense that, oh, I have to fight for this and I have to do this or that. That's, you have to understand that truth, well, the truth is true and simple, but energetically speaking, certain things happen, or there are certain conditions for certain things to feel that they're true. And in those energetical conditions, you feel the need to actually take action to change certain things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do those things, but you have to understand that when there's enough energy in the system, the shift can happen like this, because there's no need for this linear thinking. It's like, oh, I have to do this in order to change this. That's another, I should say, quality of the, well, new Earth in energy, is the linearity disappears basically, and you are existing and you are doing things in a completely different way. Obviously, not everyone accesses that, but well, some of us do, and for some of us it's even more extreme than that. But I'm just saying. So lately, I've been shown a lot of these things, that I'm being pulled from the human existence, the human experience. Is just, you see things for what they are, for the limitation that they are, and you understand that, oh, okay, so this happens, this type of, I don't know, reaction, and not just reaction, but beliefs, is like all the stories that we tell ourselves, what's precious and what's not precious, what matters, doesn't, how things should be in relationships, families, and things like that. You'll understand once you move out of it, and it's like you see the limitation, and it's like you see, wow, that's just a bunch of nonsense. And it's not that it's not beautiful in a certain way if you want to immerse yourself in certain experiences, but you realize the limitation, and once you had that space, once you made that shift, you want more, and it's like, that's not for me anymore. I'm just, and a lot of people will try to pull you down, but yeah, but that's sweet. That's, no, it's not. I've been there, I've done that. It's not, trust me, I know that. And they're trying to get you into their personal cause, like causes and things, and it's great, but if it doesn't really pull you into the direction of freedom, point into the direction of freedom and to real development and growth, that's no. And how to say, this is not a time anymore to just like, hey, let's do groups, let's create a million things. I mean, of course you have to create a lot of stuff from now on, but it's a time when you do the work, the inner work, and nobody can do that for you. I can't do that for you. You have to do it for yourself, as I do my own work by myself. And this time where like, oh, it's cute to be on the spiritual path and whatever, please just grow up. I mean, I'm not saying in a harsh way, I'm just saying, really, this is a time to actually, I mean, to do self-mastery. It's a whole new business. And once you actually reach certain levels, you see those limitations. It's not just a glimpse, you just experience it, and it's just in your face, and it's just, oh. So for me, it wasn't, I mean, always I was born, my entire life I had this feeling like something is off with this reality. It's not real. It's just, I felt it like a stage. Everything for me was like a stage, but now it's more than that. I am being pulled out, and I see all these thought patterns, there's relationship patterns, there's little stories that we tell ourselves. And I see the limitation, and I see that, oh, so this happens in this energetic condition, and this happens like this, and I'm done. I don't want those things. Not interested at all. I want something else. And at the moment, there's not a lot of something else here. And most of the people are not there yet. So whatever I say right now, it's pretty foreign for most people to understand, but I'm sure a few do. So yes, so I might seem insensitive towards certain things, or like, how can you not care? By the way, please stop sending me messages about my honey. It's like, why do I use honey when I'm actually eating? Well, when I'm consuming stuff like, when I'm having my dates, when I consume food, I consume vegan stuff, but what, you eat honey? And the stories behind it. Oh, but how can you be so cruel? The bees, the whatever. You do not. You're. Please, I mean, be respectful as I am respectful to you, toward you. Be respectful towards me, and understand that I am not somebody that I want to harm somebody, or not understanding the relationship with like animals, things in nature. But then again, I understand from a higher perspective what that means and the purpose that everything has. So if in your eyes I may seem disrespectful because I eat honey or I consume honey, although my explanation was, I was trying to give to somebody an explanation, well, not just one person, more people, and those things have not, I didn't let them degenerate, but I saw that they were living nowhere, and just leaving poison on my channel. So I was like, I decided to delete those things, as I will always delete things that are, how to say, poisonous, and there's no place for that. By the way, you have to understand, as anything else in my life, I like things to be clean, relationships, things that I do, life. And if I see mess, I will clean it, because that's what I do. And that gives me peace, and I can focus on creating new and beautiful things further, and grow further. Anyhow, so if you feel compelled to, I don't know, fight for the bees or for the animals, you should understand that certain, let's say, certain things that are in this matrix are like us, but not like us. There are certain, how should I say, programs. As you can see, if you haven't seen Matrix, you go and watch Matrix. That would explain you a lot. Although a lot of people think that films like this are just films, but they're not. They just have so many truths in them. It's just people are not aware of those things. There's little programs, things that do certain things for the whole program to, well, the whole simulation to look as natural and to have this amazing experience. And as I was saying, it's not that we're bad because we were eating or we were doing certain things even before the fall in energy and all sorts of nasty stuff. It's just was for the sake of exploration. But certain things, either way, certain things will aid us to go back to our natural state, which doesn't require certain things. We're like external sources for our own nourishment and to sustain ourselves. But in my case, honey is something that is compatible with me as information, as I was saying, for a while now I have this activated in this like inner nectar, because by the way, that's why I was saying the non-eating doesn't really exist, so to speak. It's just, this happens either way, but it's inner. So this is on and off because of the transition, obviously, of the transmutation process that it's still going on, by the way. And by the way, last night I had a really tough night. Anyway, so this has helped me to go through this this process. It doesn't have to be, I mean, if you hold those beliefs about honey and other things like that, love, sugar, whatever, that's a different story. That honey, it's not like normal sugar, and energetically and as information, it's a completely different story, but I will not go into that right now. Yeah, so this was another, sorry to just like derail so much, but the point was that in certain energetic conditions, things like this was, but you're not ethical or whatever, and blah blah. Yes, those things will be like, I mean, you will think that they're true at a certain level, but that's not really the whole truth and what things are. And by the way, expect in the future a lot of, let's say, even animals and things to go extinct, because there's no need for those things, those programs in your reality. So a lot of plant things will disappear, new things will appear, and that is fine, because they are part of new designs, they're part of new systems, so that's fine. And the whole thing, we have to go and save the world and whatever, that's just, yes, we have to do our best, we have to live a beautiful life and basically make life like art and create the best experience that we can. But things are much deeper, and if you don't understand that, well, there's obviously more time for you to learn that. But it would be nice if you would actually leave, how should I say, poison here. That would be lovely. Last was if I encounter any hormonal changes, yes, that is obvious, and it wasn't just because of the Bludarian process, and it's the whole Ascension thing for years. It's not just this. This now translates into, as I said, it goes in stages when things are changing. But one of the things that I could tell you, although I do not want to be gross or anything, is that there's times when I eliminate things. And sometimes it's like, even if it's not the time when I have my period, sometimes it feels like that time. And by the way, having your period and that's not a natural thing. That's one of those mechanisms of distortion, how women are being like harvested, harnessed, having their energy harnessed, let's say, for other things and other beings. So no, that's not natural, but that is slowly being dissolved, and having things like lose blood and all this internal changes that are happening throughout this time are slowly, not slowly because now it's an advanced stage, but they are, the whole pattern is being changed because whatever this mutation, this implant, is just being dissolved. So yes, that is going to be very interesting in the future, to just like, I don't want to have this anymore. I never really liked it. That's not natural. And all these stories that we tell ourselves, oh, how lovely it is to be a woman like this and blah blah, and they just, no, they're not. And some people will lose the ability to have children, but not because you you won't have your period or whatever, as a sign of fertility. Well, part of the signs of being able to bear children. But no, it's because of the coding which you have inside and how much distortion you carry, and yes, expect a lot of death, a lot of people dying of cancer, heart problems, and more people will become sterile because they just either, it's, as I said, there's a lot of garbage that hasn't been processed, so that thing is being magnified through these new energies. And other things, as I said, the distortions, the whatever you carry inside will lead to those things, as in like you won't be able to create life. But yeah, for me, as I said, these changes can look like a lot of things. breast pain. Mostly it's around the, how should I say, belly area, where you feel certain things are being moved around and changed and things, but also around the head area. Like last night, there's a lot of that. I wouldn't even know where to begin right now. But yes, hormonal changes and things that are changing internally, it's definitely there. As for food now, because I was actually when I was celebrating my birthday and for New Year's. By the way, over the holidays I was really clean. It was just New Year's, the New Year's weekend. I allowed myself to, I don't know, be in the spirit of the holidays. Because of the things that I'm eliminating and transmuting, that's what it is now, the transmutation, and the things that I was still carrying in my system, and there's still a little bit left. These things were getting like anxious because nothing feeds them anymore. So it like sometimes it forces you to consume even when you don't, and you feel the body feels like, what are you doing? I don't need this. It's like, really, it's like, I don't feel comfortable, but you do it anyway, not just to quiet your mind, because it gives you all this anxiety and things like, and weird things. But you see how uncomfortable you feel when you do those things. But with the latest clearings and transmutation, I know that this is just, again, a temporary phase, and those are not symptoms of like, oh, this has to do with something with the Bulgarian. It's a little more, it's not physical, first of all. It's because you have to transmute those things, and it's not easy and it's not pleasant. I don't know what else I could tell. I mean, there's a million other things, but it's already really long. It's a really long video. The main tip this year, set the internal compass towards happy and light. Be on the right side of things this year, no matter what you do. It's not about the, yes, I mean, if you are in that position, like, yes, go out there and do whatever, great. But more than anything this year, that's what matters, and that will dictate, and that you will see where you'll end up energetically speaking, and that will translate into a certain experience and certain reality to you. And yeah, choice is like being happy and staying in the light, and light really matters this year like never before. This is a year of real transformation, real separation. So do your best. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here, and yeah, see you next time. Ciao.